Bam bam, what a bam bam.
Wind up your body with your
Shake that thing. Do it, I just like do it. Get a walk with some pimp, get fluid.
This video is fair use. It is transformative and is protected under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, reporting, teaching, and more.
BK visits Jody Sue on her panel. Things start off relatively well, and then take a turn.
Y'all ready for this?
Tell the world what you know about. I just don't give a You're an idiot. And you're a troll. Alright. Have you had enough tension today? You think you've distracted? Because I'm going right back to where I was. And all you're doing is picking up algorithms and shit. Whatever. Thanks, Giggles. Anyway, when you get balls enough to grab the link, you let me know. Okay. Oh, look.
Someone else will be grabbing that link.
Alright, fuck it. This div has herself muted. Benny, you have your dice muted. Giggles is Latasha.
Yeah, of course it is. Giggles is Latasha. Yeah, somebody had called me right as I was trying to go back there. That's my apology. I wasn't muted. It was stealing the audio. But I think you probably, I don't want to tell you what you know, but I think it's highly likely all you have to do is even put one penny on your cover photo, and it's going to draw someone over that you've never heard of that's harassing you, correct? I just was told that someone was over here telling you your time was coming, and I just think it's very interesting. So,
well, what, Benny? I'm in the mood today. I'll let you hang out as long as you'll be decent.
I'll be absolutely very, very decent, madam. Very decent. Right. I've been listening to you, and I think that I really think that I'm not going to say I know what you're up to at all, but I can see that you're growing tired of very specific things.
And as long as we can agree that I don't like you, you know that I want you entirely off the internet, you're still tragedy pimping my eyes. I don't like what you've done to my daughter, myself, my family.
Fair enough.
But, whatever. You want to hang out, you're more than welcome.
Y'all ready for this?
No, I just wanted to come over and because a lot of the things that I know you've said over the past, I think that there's a very high probability that you've been ahead of the curve and that people just couldn't think the way you were with what you have been exposed to. And now when you look back at a lot of the things that you've said, they've done nothing but make you right. Hell, even I've made you right on things that didn't even seem plausible, but so I get it now. And then it's just the battle of pushing forward with whatever you said or whatever people find distasteful from the past. But every single day they make you more and more right about all kinds of things, and that's why I just sit back and listen, because I don't even know the full scope of everything that you've been exposed to from all the different sides. However,
everybody's got a bump. Everybody's got a bump.
Some of the things that, like with Carl, some of the things I think that are just absolutely crazy when I hear them later on make perfect sense. It's like it just clicks like a deja vu. So
I think we all know what Carl is. And Carl was great as a little video keeper, whatever, but I think we all know what Carl is, and I think the state here definitely knows what Carl is.
I think that, and I think that the beautiful thing is everyone can have their opinion, and I too had a not so great opinion of Carl for a long time. But then I tell you what really solidified it for me was what he did with the chip situation. Like there was actually something going on there, and it stemmed out and it tributaried out to a lot of different places. And so for that, like even the things he said about me, like for what he did in that situation, like I don't care about anything he ever said about me. It's not true. So, but the stuff that he did with the chip and the Chris Hines and the Griffey and all that stuff, like he really
all know that Jesse and Chip and all them were just plain money movements through international means. The Brad shit and second lift off the scamathon that was meant to be heralded in by the Indiana call. I mean,
did you know about the? Did they ever tell you about a truck description and a trailer description for the actual location they claimed that they were holding Summer Wells? Did they tell you about that?
No. Brad and Penny, when they pushed me and made it like the blackmail rate, and I had to stay offline for so many days,
Yes, ma'am.
etc. I was like, the fuck's that got to do with me, right? It didn't make, it wasn't biting like you said on your live stream, right?
Right.
But the weird part is that both were like, you know, look, Squall's doing this with all your stolen videos after Candace has asked her to be placed on your Facebook. Oh my God. And you've got to go straight to Benny or TM right now and tell everything you know about Summer. Seem a little weird to you, Benny?
I think a lot of things seem pretty weird to me, Miss Jody, to be honest with you. And it's, I know that there's a lot of people that have encyclopedia'd and sort of, you know, compartmentalized all the different issues. We know all the details of many, many things. And again, like I just can't say it enough. Like a lot of the things you've been saying, I think the added part to it was that you were speaking in more of a code, which I think is the safe way to do it. And you're speaking in code, and so that was part of it. I understand you just fine, but it's the code. And so when it's something you'll hear in the continuum, will just bring back something you said that wasn't even cut and dry. And you're like, okay, that's what she was talking about right there, and she's right. So I think there's a lot of weird things. So I think there's a lot of weird things that I think have, you know, just been way past anything conventional. And I do believe all of the Indiana stuff was used to try to preempt you and the Wells to try to jump out. And it was to bait you to come out to say something. They thought you had information that you would say. Basically.
It was the same thing, Benny. As always, it's to try to get everything I know from me. It was also to try to silence me in a way about the first marathon. I was crashing at the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
And it was an attempt to get everything I knew out of me. And just like the hotel shit, that to me is a semi-kidnapping event, the way I was emotionally, mentally fucked with, and my children were terrified because of the uptick in traffic that was actually them causing it. They even went as far to get vehicles that looked like monsters at the time, too.
Can I piggyback on that, actually? Because I know in the past, I probably have even actually been quite the asshole and downplayed that, but reading into necessity of defense law, which it exists in most states, the necessity of defense, what that also, and in with the citizen's arrest, that it's the threshold of the person. It's not what I think. It doesn't matter if I think you weren't feeling kidnapped or falsely imprisoned.
I know they thought I was trying to go home, and I wanted to come home, and the next thing I know, here's another receipt, and then you sort of have that like southern like obligated feeling. You know, shit's weird. The it's weird. Shit's strange. You got trucks parked outside there. I know for a fact because the stalkers, the accidental ones, Brad and Penny Reeves were like, we had no idea what we were involved in and what Brad was using us for, or what Penny was using us for and shit. And they were following us in the other city we were in. None of it made any sense. Brad never even asked me one question about all this shit, right? And then this is when they pulled a full-on Stacey Slay in a jiffy, blah, blah, blah bullshit. Instead of buying Summer's real head FBI sort of agent type things, all these things occur. Instead of buying Summer's real head FBI sort of agent type things, all these things occur. And at first they want me to call numbers that are, you know, linked to where, I mean, it's just all kinds of insanity. And it was trying to make sure I was separated, like, you know, abuser style, right, from those closest to me, putting me somewhere, making me feel a type of way. Also trying to make me feel like I was helping Summer during the first few days, because I didn't know about the marathon until I was, and they were like, come over here and visit Q's. And I remember Penny saying, who the fuck's that? I don't want to go anywhere else. I just, you know,
at that time, everybody was trying to pull their own piece of Jody somewhere into their little corner of the community. And, I can see it all very, very differently. And I don't know why they're, I think everyone probably can surmise a couple of different reasons why they would do all of this stuff, but I think that it primarily has one to do with money. That's probably the first one. And the second one is some sort of esteem that they think that they may accrue from whatever information they can bring. Like, I think there's also a very consistent tonality that any information they got was just going to go straight to the internet. You've got Penny all around the internet predicting big things that's going to happen, and then Indiana calls happen, and it's just it's very strange.
I don't think it's just Brad. I know it's not, and I think you know that as well.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of it every single day, because I do now also agree with another thing that you've said, and that's that you're not a YouTuber. I agree with that, because me actually labeling myself for quite a long time as a YouTuber, pretty much what that was code word for was that I'm pulled every direction and that I'm not looking and seeing any one thing very well. So when I get back around now, here it is, what, year and a half later, so many of these things I've never seen, never heard, and when I do, it's like, whoa. It's hard to go back and add that piece where you know it goes, and then follow the wrinkles and it's like, whoa. It's hard to go back and add that piece where you know it goes, and then follow the wrinkles and iron it all back to where you are today, having even conceptualized how that fits into the whole grand scheme, right? So that's been my problem, is all these new components that are available, they've been out there to see forever. Like, for instance, Lip Lock No More. I don't have a problem with her, but she's on the internet and she's telling how Fizzle's saying, Cam and Allie are PIs, they're working with the PIs, they're working with the feds, this person's this person, Brad's, a law enforcement. And I'm like, what is happening?
I think everybody's well aware what Cam and Allie were doing from the time they got around C&D and what roles they played, especially in the Lady R, the Q shit, the threatening of us and the kids. And
with everything he's got going on right now, Miss Jody, it was so hard for me. Like, I couldn't really see that about Cam back then. And I still can't definitively say, yeah, they're up there doing drugs with the Wells. I mean, I wouldn't say that because I don't know that to be true. However, when you look at the way people are all tied together, and then the way the court looks into these people's lives, and I know a lot of people
knew from the get-go they were doing drugs. And
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I think that I raised my eyebrows when everyone else did.
You said, I think everybody knows, Benny. And I mean, even you said you watched Cam be giving shit by Allie, also their stuff be way out there, and then him take off in a car and drive.
Yeah, that was my first inkling in, but I had been dealing with him already for probably 4 or 5, 6 months on the internet before seeing him in that state. So I really didn't have anything to gauge, and I didn't want to gauge the guy on his past. However, it becomes even more tricky when you're dealing with how do you approach the way you think about somebody on the internet, and you have to always calculate everyone's past and their internet context, and it becomes very cumbersome to do all that with all these people. So
sound much like Brad and the rest, and it was pretty clear off of Cam's YouTube prior and on his social media. The boy was in treatment and on Suboxone or methadone or something up there preaching Jesus.
This is just my opinion, but I think Jesus would be okay with medication-assisted treatment for addiction, otherwise known as MAT. Drugs like Suboxone and methadone can help with withdrawal symptoms and much more, so the patient has a better chance at recovery. Let's help remove the stigma associated with MAT. And of course, these drugs aren't perfect, nor do they work every time.
And was an easy target to pull in and make a YouTuber of and local whatever. And I mean, in those ways they're found, just like Brad and others were found in this. It was pretty easy to figure out he had issues.
Yeah, I think that, the YouTuber part of me and, the listening, when people hear the national anthem, people that haven't heard it in years, they'll hear it, you'll see them on TV, they break down and cry. And I'm a softie that way. Like, when people turn towards the Lord, and, it's like, who am I to try to criticize this person when they're turning toward the Lord? And so you just don't, right? I started seeing his eyes bat around in his head.
You've been on the block as well as Lion and me and others have. You know the difference between people really turning to God and using it as a cloak or a sales pitch.
Yeah, you're right. But this place takes away some of my ability, and I'm not saying it does for everyone, but it does have a tendency to take away my ability to really reason, right? Like, I just, if somebody says they're a Christian, hell, they're a Christian. I'm not gonna judge them. But then when you see sort of that spirituality start to disintegrate over time, and it's
how you tell a real Christian from a fake one, Benny? They don't have to say they're a Christian.
For sure, absolutely right. They don't have to wear a cross. They don't have to do any of that.
They don't have to tell them they're a Christian, especially on.
It's in them. It's not on them. I do think that, however, there is some sort of dysfunction that is not like, it's not a communicable mind disease, but it's like a mental virus that if you stay around in certain depths of this place very long, you're going to get the kind of output that we've been seeing. And I've just been trying to hang back and do my thing, but then I hear the whole Don with Mary thing, and it's like, it's, I don't know, that's just hard to listen to, because I know that at this point, who am I to say Don did what or didn't do what, right? So there could potentially be a suspect or a victim in Don. And I hate to think of the way I'll feel about myself if and when the day comes they find her. and let's say Don has nothing to do with it. God, how do I explain to my Jesus the things I've said about that man? How do I do that?
There's a reason I don't go around calling even Cindy guilty. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
All possibilities are on the table, Benny.
Absolutely. And they've never said anything different than that. They kind of left us all with that.
I know more than the public does. I know more than you all do. But the thing is, I'm still not going to go around back. And also, that violates a lot of legal and civil grounds to do that. So, whenever you being much like y'all done to the rest of us here.
Well, you know, the gag order stands for pretty much all information. So we, as Tennesseans especially,
I don't think the gag order affects Jody.
Being mandated reporters, there should be a little more adherence to, if things are said by people that are under the gag order, Tennesseans should kind of be the first ones to say, yeah, we're not going to talk about this thing. We'll skirt around that and talk about that, because that could curtail to talking to, about things that are
the only gag order effect is for them with the boys. I know what I'm talking about. Feds, law enforcement, they say I can speak, I can do as I please, if I choose to do so on here or whatever.
Yeah,
I just use common sense to try to navigate the waters and not be an extreme bull in a china shop. I hope that's it.
No, and thankfully we have a little bit of control over how we make the adjustments to, fit through these openings as we're confronted with them on the YouTube, and we don't always gracefully make it through. None of us have a perfect track record here. And I think that what I can say is I think for the most part, everyone, even if it's just for an hour a day, everyone wants to strive to do better. So I, even I guess the worst of the worst, including myself, kind of give everyone grace to kind of get through tight situations.
Moving forward, I hope so.
With a little more grace, but I just, some of the things, I may not agree with all of the people here or any of that stuff, but when, when the sexy stuff starts on the internet, that's kind of when I go away, because you watch a whole community of people. Like, I can even say, oh, Scott H did good on this day, or Penny did good on this day, or Liplock said a really good thing here that day. I can do that for these people, but then they all reconvene with some sexy, weird stuff, and it's just strange. It's a strange environment.
No, I can't. They have, they're all what they are, Benny. All of you are. And what you all do in these open and active investigations is shitty.
I mean, to be fair, like, you doing the same thing, Jody. I just agree that you're not actually probably fully a YouTuber, but that's only my opinion. But I break away for days and cover way other things. I have interest in many things. I had interest in many things before Summer Wells went missing. So I have a solidified place here.
I got to tell you, I have a favorite version of Benny, probably the way back somewhere after I mentioned.
I have a favorite version of you too.
The poet, whatever that was way back. I definitely suggest you go there, because
I dig the artist, Jody. I dig the one that's kind of profound. You know what I mean? I do, not the one that just kind of focuses on what everyone's done to them, because we can all sit around and just dredge ourselves with the things other people. We come here to accept the low blows of our life every single day. We come here to accept them, all of us. None of us are different in that effect. So we all could learn from each other. I'm not shut off to the idea that I can learn from Jody, or I can learn from Ernie even, or anyone here. About the time you shut yourself off to learning is about the time you start forgetting all you know anyways. So I accept responsibility of anyone's opinion of me, although it's not my concern. Like, I don't wander around wondering what people think about me, but I accept it when they say it to me, and I'm not going to bat you down and say, no, you're wrong or you're right. It's your opinion. And for the better good of that, it's just probably easier to do it, like, however many times we got to sharpen swords on each other before we can just come together for the better good of Summer. Right? Like,
that would be nice, but this community has been a mess for a long time.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll accept however many times, and I will. I won't give up on you, Jody, because I know you got a story. I won't never give up on you.
There's a difference. It's like, you all fuck around, and I realize to an extent it's terrorizing on purpose. All right? That causes real harm, real destruction, real chaos. You've got real people.
Well, I mean, it causes real things in your mind, but actually all the things that you think have actually been against the law, there's been no charges and no one arrested for anything. So that's sort of also the gap in it. We have to remember that.
It's not how I feel. You literally have all of you on group calls. And
I think it's downhill from here.
I understand it feels that way, but that's actually not against the law, though.
It feels that's how it is, and there's proof and evidence of all of you on calls.
So there's proof and evidence, Miss Jody. I don't mean to interrupt you. There may be proof and evidence, but it doesn't meet the threshold for any criminal charges. It's just uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable is all.
No, it's
a lot of uncomfortable stuff here. I'm appreciative to you, Jody, because you're the one that found that they had impersonated my judge and were snatching IPs. That was a beautiful thing you did. Like, you didn't even have to do that, and I appreciate it because I would have never seen it. So now all that's been turned in. Like all of a sudden, the internet says Benny has an impersonating charge, but someone's impersonating this judge. Jody,
around my little, it does indeed, and I can tell you for a fact, because of what I've been told, it does indeed violate not just local and state, but federal law. What you
there's also a very real statute of limitations. So if there's only just X amount of time after the action day.
And then Adrian did, and Ziggy and Dolly with the targeting and the attempted murder. I know, but
then Jody, if you feel that way, you got to report it, sweetie.
I think she has been.
Hey, Benny,
if you did report it, and they didn't take any action, then it didn't actually meet a criminal threshold.
Just because you aren't in cuffs immediately doesn't mean one day you won't be for what you've done.
I mean, I hate that you feel that you're going to sit around and wait on something that there's a real statute of limitations for, Jody.
It's not a feeling, Benny.
There's not a forever statute of limitations on just a few things, right? So
we're going to agree to agree. And what I know back here, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Look at what they're letting Don run around and do. And you think they're going to they're going to hold people to an opinionated standard? I hate it, Jody. I hate it. In fact, I called the police on you, and they were going to take a report right then and there against you, but I just didn't. So that met the threshold to take a report, at least.
Yeah, lots of reports, Benny. And how many times have you called out real police house under fake names and all kinds of shit?
How many times have I done what?
I mean, it's like, I know for a fact, like, the police here want your ass so bad they can taste it. You know?
Tastes like magic. Got to have it.
No, actually, they don't, because when I come there, they don't have any interest. They want to put me on the news, and I decline.
You can say that, man.
No, yeah, no, I'm for real, actually, ma'am.
Yeah, you can say that to me. But regardless,
I didn't come here to have a kissing match with you. I just came here to sort of crack you up with a few things and say I agree. Do what now?
I'm just not going to let you buy with the shit you all won't buy with, and I'm going to call you out.
Well, I mean, hey, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But it would start to look like obsessive compulsive behavior to continue to do the same thing, expecting a different outcome.
It's
right?
not justice and soft.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Benny.
What's that now?
I said it's not obsessive to want.
Listen, Jody, you can't put your daughter on the internet and expect people on the internet to not criticize what she says. It's not off limits, Jody.
My daughter
here so many times. In fact, you wanted me to meet you in Virginia. Remember, on the state line and interview your daughter. Remember?
No, I said she'd be me and she could talk to you if she wanted to.
Right. But she's going to do what you tell her to do. We know that.
No.
If I'm so bad to your daughter, why would you want her to talk to me if she wanted to?
Me at the time.
No, Jody, you have a great day, sweetie.
Well, yeah, see, you were such a chicken and shit, bro. Somebody starts calling you and holding you accountable on your shit, and you just can't do it, right?
Tastes like magic.
Why is it always the kids? Why is it always my little? And I hate to tell him, but indictments and shit, they take a while, especially federal level. Bless him. Whatever. And I know he's fishing. Oh, whatever. Anyway, carrying on. And he wants receipts. And they think because of the thumbnail, this is about Penny. Wrong answer. This isn't really about Penny at all. Idiots.
I want it now, I want it later. Chasing a dream, put it on paper. Nothing can stop me, not even haters. Bring me that flavor. I want it now, I want it later. Chasing a dream, put it on paper. Nothing can stop me, not even haters. Bring me that flavor. Tastes like magic. Got to have it. Tastes like magic. Got to have it. It's on the tongue, so you know that it's sweet. Loving the flavor, I'm loving the treat. Know what I want, I know this what I need. Give me that bass, give me that beat. Hit on your tongue, I can feel an explosion.